been bugging all day, bro. Who's better, Big or Pac?
Pac's way better than Big, bro.
How? Big is a way better spitter than him.
He's not a better spitter than Pac, bro. Pac got way more content.
I didn't ask you about content. Who's better, LeBron or MJ?
Jordan, that's not even a question, bro.
It is a question.
It's not.
It's LeBron, bro. He's the GOAT.
The GOAT at what? Failing?
Oh, you're funny. Who's better?
All right, welcome to another episode of Ohh Wells World, and today I got a very, very special guest. I got my mother here. How you doing, Mom?
I'm doing good.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I definitely, you're definitely one of the guests that I had in my brain to, show them, who I am, where I come from, and no better place than to be here in church, where yes, definitely my foundation and my upbringing. Definitely wouldn't say that I am your upstanding Christian man, but it's definitely the values that you have taught me and the different things that you have instilled in me, start from church. So I want you to talk about what it is, your upbringing, and what drew you to church, what drew you to God and into becoming a follower of Christ.
Okay, well, initially I had no choice.
Mm-hmm.
Mama took us to church.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't send us. She didn't have somebody come pick us up. She took all of us kids. As you know, there were 8 of us.
Right.
So as the years went by, we would go to church until we got old enough to take the public transportation. Then in Brooklyn, it was the good old bus.
Mm-hmm.
And we would go to church. So I grew up knowing church, loving Sunday school. Excuse me. So we would go every Sunday to church. Back in the day, we were raised that Saturday led into our Sabbath, which was Sunday. So we didn't get a chance to do a whole lot of playing around and going out and all the socialization on a Saturday because we were preparing for our Sabbath, which is that Sunday.
Right.
So just going up in the Sunday school and the various teachers that I had and the various topics that we discussed, and were able to go back and forth and ask different questions about what we did not understand. I loved going to church. I loved the atmosphere of it all. I loved even the social aspect of going and seeing people there on Sunday that I wouldn't see at any other time during the week.
Mm-hmm.
So Mom kind of put that in us that, Sunday, you're going to be in church. Whatever your week was like,
Mm-hmm.
Sunday you was in church.
Now, out of all 8 of the kids, you were the only one that actually stayed, with it.
Yes.
Tell me why that is.
There's a lot of distractions in the earth, and I guess with my own personal conviction and my love for God and wanting to please Him and not go the drug route, not go all of the men route, not go in the gambling route, and not go in some other choices that was afforded to me, I decided to make different decisions. So I decided to stay in the church. I wasn't perfect now,
Right.
far from perfect,
Right.
but my conviction was that God would forgive me and He would give me opportunities to get it right and to do better in life. And so that's what kind of kept me there, because outside of that, people can be very hard, very cold, and very unforgiving. So a lot of times I did not experience that forgiveness and that's okay, girl, let's make up, let's go forward, in my natural relationships. But I always felt that the love of God would welcome me back, strengthen me, and help me keep moving forward. And so that was my mindset, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
so that whenever a hiccup, so to speak, came along, then I knew that, God would hear me, that He would forgive me, and that He was always there for me.
Coming up, that's how you found your comfort.
Yes.
How did that translate when you started having kids?
The challenge of having kids was, first of all, when I first got pregnant, I wasn't married. So there was a little bit of a culture shock in the church.
This is with my sister.
Yes.
Okay.
So there was a little bit of a culture shock going on because, I mean, here you are, a Christian girl going to church, and you mean, what? You had sex? Whoa! And so I think after most of the people got over that and they understood that, okay, yes, I love the Lord. Yes, I read the Bible. Yes, I sing in the choir. Yes, I'm there every time there is a service, that you're human, flesh and blood, and you do like men, huh? You know, that thing kind of settled down then. And even at, you know, even going through that, it was difficult at times, because then I was still wondering, here I am in the church, and where's all this love of God is? Where's all this acceptance? Where's all of this, oh, okay, we know you know, you're weak, you fell, and okay, so we're going to help build you back up. I didn't feel that, but I stayed true, because God was always true to me. Because whenever I needed to go back, I was able to go back. When I was needed to be, you know, comforted and consoled by the Spirit of God, I received that. So God's always been faithful to me, so I held on to that faithfulness and that consistency in my relationship with Him.
So you go through that at a fairly young age with my sister, and you go through life and you meet my dad, and talk about, you know, those days of when when you were with my dad, and, you know, losing 2 kids, and now here I come, and, you know, talk about you know, your different hardships or different things that you were going through at that time.
Okay. Around the time, well, I met your father, believe it or not, at the pastor's conference at his church in Washington. And oddly enough, about that time, I was really kind of fed up with relationships. All my girlfriends were getting married, and my life was along that always the bridesmaid, never the bride sort of thing. And I think I was literally in maybe 8 or 9 weddings within the, you know, that 2 to 3 year period before that time, and I was the maid of honor, always the maid of honor. And I'm like, God, now I know me and you good, but you know, I'm like tired of, you know, always catching the bouquet and ain't no man there. And I figured that, okay, I'm gonna give God a challenge. The nerve. All right. And I told God, I said, well, I tell you what, I have a business card left. And when I go to this conference, then I'm going to give this card to a man. I ain't going to give it to a woman. It's going to be a man. And something's got to be happening with a relationship of some sort then. So I call myself challenging God, you know, even though I know the Bible says there's nothing too hard. But
Nothing
you know,
too hard, that's right.
To me, after all of these years and all of these marriages and all of these various other types of relationships, okay, God, is it my turn yet?
Right.
So we went to the conference, and it was a 3-day conference. I met someone on the first night. Oh, very nice fellow, but couldn't find out he's already married. Oh, righty then, God, that ain't the one. So that Friday night, we had an afternoon like seminar thing. Met another young. Oh, we clicked it off real good. We was talking back and forth, and you know, and I almost had the wedding gown picked out, but guess what? He was already married.
Oh.
Well, Father God, now help me to be calm. I ain't trying to disrespect nobody's marriage. I ain't looking for no affairs or nothing like that. But all right, God, now listen, it's almost the 3rd day.
Right.
So that Saturday, in between 2 seminars, the church had a Bible bookstore. Went over to the Bible bookstore, and the young lady that I was staying with, can't remember now her last name, but her first name was Aldine. So she worked in the bookstore, so I went over there to just talk with her for a few minutes. I come out, and there's your father. I said, That's it. But, you know, I was, you know, trying to make my way back into the church. And so he spoke to me. How you doing? I said, I'm blessed. Thank you. How are you? He said, do you know Aldine? I said, yes, I'm staying with her to the conference. And her car was in a wrong spot. So he asked me if I would mind going to tell her to move the car. And I said, okay, I can do that. So I did, and when I came back out, he had all this other conversation, and he wanted my phone number, and this, that, and I'm thinking, okay, here's another one, want a phone number, probably ain't gonna call or nothing,
Right.
but, okay, I gave him the card, because this is my information, he wanted to get in contact with me, and I didn't see him anymore. So went on through the conference, I really didn't think too much about it, but by the time I got home, I had 3 calls from him. I said, now, there might be a little bit of promise here, okay?
Right.
Thank you, God. And the one thing led to the other thing, and we got married. And with the first pregnancy, I think that lasted for about a month. And that was heartbreaking. He had never had any children. I had already had your sister. And it was just kind of difficult because you're figuring that you're both saved, you're married, you're doing the right thing, and your children should come. But God did not allow that to happen. So about maybe 8 months later, I got pregnant again. So okay, this time we're gonna go through, and I carried that pregnancy maybe about 6 months, and my body aborted the baby. I said, oh Lord. What did and you start that self-doubt, what did I do, how can I make this up, oh God, da da da. And so your father and I, we prayed, and we had the church pray, and trying to make sure we had our record straight, the plate was clean. All right, God, are we good? All right, and then I get pregnant with you. All right, so I'm working full-time, he's working full-time. And then about the 3rd month, a little spotting started happening, a little cramping started happening. I said, oh God, not again. Went to the doctor, okay, you got to be on bed rest. And that was such a foreign concept for me. Used to getting up and going and being and doing, And so I went to my job and I talked to my supervisor. And so, yeah, we definitely going to do the bed rest thing.
Yeah.
So I worked maybe another 2 months. And I took the bed rest, and we were doing good. We were going along. We were very excited about the baby coming, and the church was excited. We got support. People would come over and help, with the meals, house cleaning, laundry, that kind of thing. And one night, your father was going out, with his friends, and this was good. I was on the couch, had my big glass of cherry-flavored Kool-Aid. Ain't nothing like some Kool-Aid, right?
Right.
So I had a little snack. I can't remember what that was, but I do remember the red Kool-Aid. Okay. So I'm just laying there, hee-hee-ha-ha with the TV program, and then I feel a little something. Wasn't like great pain, but it wasn't normal. And so I called your father. I said, I think something's happening, and I think you should make your way home. So it's like almost before I could blink twice, your father was at the door, okay? And he helped me down the stairs, and we went to the hospital, and she's starting to dilate. This. Now, we went to birthing classes. We had the Lamar's method down packed, all of that, okay? But you wasn't having that, see. You was not cooperating. So after maybe 6 hours of pushing and yelling and going through what pregnant women go through in the labor and delivery room, I said, we're going to have to do a C-section. Because you're dilated, or you was going to dilate, you was holding position for that long. It's like, okay, if we don't help this woman out, there's going to be some issues. So there we were. I had the C-section, and you were my bouncing baby boy.
Nice.
All right, so we decided to go ahead and have the circumcision and all of that there at the hospital, and
TMI.
Yeah. Anyways, and so we came home after the 3 days. During those times, they were having those nice little candlelight dinners for the couples that just had, the child, and we did that. Was very nice, very romantic, and then life began at home with a brand new baby boy. You see.
So, with me growing up and you and my father eventually splitting up and you remarrying, and what, with me coming up and going through, life, what kept as far as me being your son, there's mothers that turn their back on their sons after a while, or there's like a real big disconnect, or there's a disrespect that happens because they don't want to deal with each other.
Mm-hmm.
What is it about our relationship that that you think keeps us so close?
I think for me the foundation is mutual respect. I never punished you without justification. At least I didn't think so. And we've always had that ability to talk.
Right.
I would purposely stop whatever I was doing. If the need was to talk, let's talk.
Mm-hmm.
I would explain things to you. I would let you know what I'm going to do, why I'm going to do it. And I would, at times, I would even explain the consequences of if you did not clean up your room, things of that. And I made a practice of following through what I said. So I think that, the ways that I chose to raise you, even after your father and I separated, I decided that I would not bad talk him. I would not be disrespectful to him. I would not, in a sense, put you on my side against his side, because you had nothing to do with any of that.
Right.
Okay, it was between him and I. We could not get along anymore, and it was a mutual separation that led to a divorce. Mm-hmm. So I tried to be as consistent as I could as a parent. To be present for you at school, at the games, whatever functions you were involved with. I decided to be supportive. Okay, I was not one of those mothers that ripped and ran up and down the street and okay, you watch yourself and I'll be back in an hour and stuff like that. No, my job as your mother was to protect you, to provide for you, to make sure that you were safe and you had a safe place to be. And I practice that because I have experience, dealing with other mothers and dealing with other people that, had issues and had problems.
Right.
So based on my experience in dealing with people in and out of the church, I kind of, culled in those experiences and put the best practices in my life.
So come time now for me to have a kid, and I sit you down and I talk to you, and one of the things I was concerned about that we talked about was, your other church peers, because I was also having a kid out of wedlock, and I told you that I was worried about people talking about you or badmouthing you, like, oh yeah, that's Apostle's son over there having a kid, and and I told you that that's what I was worried about, but you quickly put me to rest about it at ease. Mm-hmm. You want to talk about that a little bit?
I think in the church world there's certain stereotypes, and I grew up believing some of those stereotypes myself, and as I said, I've been through a few things in and out of the church. With that, having a child is not a sin. God is not mad with folk because they decide to have children. The sin is in how you get that child and what stage of life are you in with that child. Are you married? Are you committed? Or, whatever situation you may be. Now, fornication is sin. Okay, so you got to deal with God with that. The child, as a result of that, is not the problem. Okay, so whether a person outside of your immediate relationship knows all the facts or not, they're going to form their own opinion about whether you did the right thing, whether you didn't right. But if it was me, but see, the thing is 99% of the time, it is not them. It is you. Right. So it's how you conduct yourself and how you, continue your life. When I was pregnant with your sister out of wedlock, it was difficult because, yes, people did talk. And it was more of the people in the church talking than people outside the church talking. Because see, the ones in the church is where I spent most of my time with. So they knew intimate details about my life and my lifestyle and how I thought and how I felt about, what the Word of God says and that kind of thing. as opposed to the people outside that did not have that intimate knowledge. So I wanted you to understand that just because you got caught up in something, or even if you planted, it doesn't matter, God is still going to be God. He's still going to be there. And you had the right to secure your relationship with him. The child is not the problem. The child is never the problem. Because if you remember, or if you think about it, sometimes it's during the pregnancy where all of the talking is.
Right.
But once the child is there, ain't nobody got nothing to say. What could you say? The child is there.
Right.
You know what I mean? So to hold fast your relationship with God, regardless to the outcome, the situation may be, then that's the important key of it all, because it's important for you to understand that God is a forgiving God. And it's important for you to understand that that same forgiving God is going to be there for your children. And eventually your children, and so on and so forth. So it was my job as a parent is to, first of all, get on your case because you know better, but also to understand that God is a forgiving God and that he will ever be there for you when you need him to be. So there's no need for me to, I felt, to dump a whole lot of guilt on you. You know what you did. I know what you did because I had you. So, you know, was it necessary, in my opinion, to browbeat you or make you feel, you know, guilty for doing that?
So let's switch gears and talk about church today. Now, as you know, there's especially with my generation and the millennials now, they're more of a show me type of generation. Like, all right, you say Jesus is real, you say God is real, show me. And I feel like a lot with church people, you know, especially from, you know, grandma's generation, and maybe even a lot with your generation, as you said, they form, you know, click up in church, and, you know, people come from the street trying to learn, and then they get turned away real quick because, you know, they're forming opinions. Oh, she got pants on. Oh, she got a very short skirt on, or, you know what I'm saying, what she's wearing is very provocative. What do you think, you know, a solution, not a solution per se, but how do you think the church can, you know, get some of these souls or some of these people back into turning their life to God?
That's an excellent question. And I admit I don't have all of the answer. But one thing I know more true about this present generation than in my generation, say, and my mother's generation, is that people are looking, as you say, for realness. They don't go for the cliches. They don't go for the old, let what you done, and that's not what you said. They want realness. Are you real? Are you telling me the truth? And if you're telling me the truth, is that truth good for you as well? You know, not that do what I say, do it not as I do. Because if it's good for the goose, it should be good for the gander. I think this generation has challenges that I never had, okay? I never had a problem with a cell phone in church. And yet this generation, in my opinion, a lot of churches even that I go to now, old school, is there's a problem because cell phones go off. It's a distraction. Children are playing the games on, you know, the lighting and the noise of that. That's a distraction. When mommy takes it away, trying to discipline or, you know, get them to pay attention, then we have the noise, and then that's a distraction. So back in the day, we would go to church and be there from like 10 to 5. No problem. Okay? That was then. I said, I did say that. Okay? But nowadays, people are looking to get out. You know, they come in 10, they want to be out by 2.
Right.
Okay? So that a lot of the formalities of what we used to do in service can be cut down or even cut out. But it's difficult sometimes, too, to find out where people's head is at. I'm old school. Okay? I like giving God some time, you know, during the service. It's not like ding, 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 ding. You could jump from one activity to the other, boom, you're done. Okay? A lot of the fluff or the unnecessary conversations. You know, people still don't know how to testify. Okay, that was true back then, even more so because it had more time to testify than now. So, but it's hard to educate people when they don't want to be educated. And yet they come into church and they be critical. Oh, they take so long to do this and they do that. Well, if we have to stop every 2 minutes to ask somebody, would you please silence your cell phone? Or could you take that child in the back? You know, there's a disconnect. Okay, because as I said earlier, my mama took us to church. A lot of times, and with this generation, they send their kids to church. So there's no balance between what mother knows actually happened in church and what the child tells them. Okay, so there's no, well, you remember when they were singing the song and you started jumping up and down, baby, you shouldn't do that. Right. Okay, church protocol is not respected because you can go to one church and have activities that will convey to the children, where that's children's church and that this is adult church. But when you're a small church like we are, you don't have the staff to do that. So there's a lot of things that could be done that's not being done because you don't have enough people faithfully that will come. I mean, we can come, as you know for yourself, we can come sometimes on a Sunday, we got 25, 30 people. It's like, wow, boy, we full. All right, and then there are those Sundays when there's like 4 or 5 people, and it's like
4 no more.
That's it. Okay, so to really try to sit down with people and ask them, what is it you need? What are you looking for? I find that people, it's not that they're being dishonest, but they really don't know. They really don't know. I went to the beautician the other day and was talking to the young lady, and she was saying that when she went to her church, which has been some time ago, they encountered all of this friction about who liked who and who was saying what to who, and it broke my heart because this should not be. When you come to church, it should be, the focus should be sharing the love of God, hearing the word, getting inspired and motivated to go on with the rest of your week. Right. It shouldn't be like, oh, she don't like my husband and she didn't talk to me and stuff. That should not be. But again, is that being taught? Is that what's being conveyed? Are they being met with a friendly face, with a smile, with a welcome, to our house of worship sort of thing? So there's a lot of issues that are going on. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done. But you can't do it if the people don't come, and if the people don't come, you can't do it.
Right. Okay. I like that. So, gonna wrap this up a little bit. I want to. I've had a couple of conversations, definitely in the past, and definitely seeing things on social media, and knowing you and growing up with you and you raising me, and I know that you are a very strong-willed, independent woman. So with you being, the head of this church, you are the senior pastor.
Yes.
And I believe in, your marriage with my dad. You made more money. I'm not sure about this your marriage now, but you're saying you always been the breadwinner and the one, you basically the breadwinner and the provider. Now when we look at different relationships and how we view relationships, the man is the head, right? And the woman is supposed to be submissive, and I feel like the word submissive gets so much meaning, and people don't know, especially women now, don't really know what being submissive is. They think, they hear submissive and it's, oh, you gotta lay down and do whatever your husband says. But I want you to answer 2 things. One, what is being a submissive woman is? What is being submissive mean, Bible, and I'm talking about in the Bible sense. And how do you go about being submissive if you are the breadwinner and you are a strong-willed woman?
Okay. All right. Going back to what the Bible says about being submissive, as you said, a lot of women take that to mean, well, you're the rug, and the man can walk all over you. Um, of course, I beg to differ with that. Submissive is knowing, having a knowing confidence of who you are, and abiding in that. Knowing where to draw the line, knowing where the limitations are, and staying within them for yourself. Okay? I never really considered myself the total breadwinner because the man he is the head of the home. That's what the Bible says. That's what I believe. I don't disrespect my husband. I don't go against what he said. Now we disagree. Now don't get me wrong. We disagree. But then we have those times of conversation when we agree to disagree. He has his reason for what he does. I have my reason for what I do. I've done extensive study in scripture. I understand what it is to be a wife. My main objective is to please God. So in pleasing God, I know that as a wife that I don't run the whole show by myself. It's not all about me. It's about me and my husband made a vow to honor and respect one another, and so serving God. So when I know what the limitations are, and each marriage is different because you got two different individuals coming together after whatever their ages may be, and their personalities is already formed, their likes and dislikes is already formed. So you converse with each other and you have mutual understanding about what your role is. You have to understand what your role is as a wife, as a mother, as a sister, with your friends. You have to set limitations. You have to set guidelines and respect them. Okay, it does me no good to tell my husband that, okay, I'm going out with my mom and we're going to have lunch and then, we're just going to just go around and, but I don't want you to call me. Why not? Why can't your husband call you? What does it mean that it's none of his business? It's always his business. Everything about you is his business. I tell my husband, you call me whenever you want. Now, my girlfriends that I'm hanging out with, he always calls me. Well, see, that's your problem, not my problem. My understanding what my husband is, okay? So for the woman herself is to understand who you are, have confidence in who you are, set limitations, okay? Because you're not a person. If you're in a relationship, it's not all about you. A key word, compromise, okay? And be realistic about it. We have coming up, we used to have the boy, I'll punch you into your face into next week. Okay? You can't do that.
Right.
You ain't even guaranteed tomorrow. What did you talking about next week? Boy, I'll slap you so hard you'll see stars. No, you're not going to do that. But when you set those limitations, you say, well, listen here. I'll be home by 5. If I'm not home by 5, I'll give you a call. Okay? So you go out, you find out, oops, let me call. What's the problem? Okay? Because if any accident, misfortune happened to you out there, you want your loved one to know where you are, what's going on, come help me, whatever the situation may be. So in being submissive is to respect, not to be the doormat. It has much more to do with respect than it has to do submission, being subversive and submerged in life. No, we both have our roles to play. We both have those things that will make the relationship work, make me better as a woman, make you better as a man, make me better as a wife, make you better husband, and so on and so forth. You're ministering to each other. You're working at compromise. You're working at compromise to come together to make. It's never all about the one person when you're in relationship. Right. If you're all by yourself, yep. But if you want a relationship, you got to come down off your high horse, understand it's not about you, get an understanding. What is it you want from me? What are your expectations of me? And come together with an agreement. Okay, I ain't going to wash dishes 7 days a week, but, we can compromise on that and, maybe eat out 2 or 3 days out that week so I ain't got to wash no dishes. Laundry, listen, I don't even like to do my own laundry. So, we'll wash on that.
Right.
Okay, money. it really has to do with when the money comes in, you can find ways to work that. Okay, a lot of old schoolers, when the woman works, she gives the man the money. Well, that doesn't always work because men don't always know how to manage the money.
Well,
okay, so if that educational part is lacking and you got it, then what's wrong with you managing the money?
Right.
Okay, setting up allowances for each other, or just to set. I remember watching Steve Harvey, and he said that his wife has an account, he has an account, and then they have a joint account. That joint account is where they pay all the household bills and stuff like that. I kind of like that, but that doesn't work for me. Okay, but you get together in your relationship with your significant other, and you set those rules. I like this. Oh, but I like this. You can compromise on things, spend that time together that you need, and you must communicate. You must.
I like it. Well, this definitely won't be the last time that you will be on here, okay?
Thank you.
But I definitely wanted to highlight you and reverence you. Happy Black History Month.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. This T-shirt is from a boutique that I got from IG. It's called Educated N-Word, and we all know what that N-word is. So, Mom, this is our segment where we pick a song, we pick something that we watch. So it's called What You Should Be Listening To. I gotta turn this back on, y'all. So my choice today, it's a oldie but goodie. Okay? And next time you come, I want to talk about my love for music, and I know I get a lot from you. I get it from my dad too, but especially gospel music. I just really, really love gospel music. So I'm going to bring it to Kirk Franklin, God's Property, and we're going to do this one. It's called Love. I can't play it for too long because I'm gonna get flagged. But if you get the chance, and most people already know this song, but I feel like this song could really heal people, and is a really beautiful song. I feel like Kirk Franklin did his thing on there. What's your pick for what you should be listening to?
Wow, that's very difficult. Because I like songs with a message that if it's not ministering to me, then it helps me give praise to God. I can't remember who the author is, but there's a song that talks about my hallelujah belongs to you. And I think that's a song that kind of helps us to remember, again, that it's not all about us, that it is God. And when we come on our misfortunes or our fortunes, then it's all praise due unto Him.
That is by J.J. Hairston in Useful Plays.
Yes. My hallelujah belongs to you.
Come on, everybody, open your mouth and worship the Lord.
It's actually a really good song too.
He's worthy of the
I'm probably gonna get flagged for this. All right, Els, what's your what you should be listening to? I bet you he ain't got his gospel song. I got my gospel bag on you.
Oh man, I don't have one right now. Not today.
All right. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to also apologize about the delays. We just running into different problems, and when you trying to start your own business, you always running into little snaggles. But thank you. I really want to thank y'all, and just keep bearing with me. Keep on subscribing, keep on commenting, keep on liking. I want to thank you, Mom, for taking out the time of your morning and coming and talk to me.
You're welcome.
And thank you for stepping into my world. And I love you. You know that. And I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.
Oh well. It's my world.
Don't look for me to cater to your needs. I'm here to argue. I might turn you through a